Hello and welcome to the Channel 1 Newsroom from our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano in Accra. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Coming up, Chief Justice nominee Paul Bafo-Boni reveals ongoing plans to introduce 24-hour court operations in selected jurisdictions across the country.
I was telling somebody that maybe the president even stole his the 24-hour economy idea from the judicial service, because we have planned for some time now to introduce courts around the
Acting Minister for Defense Dr. Keiselato Forson presents final report on the tragic military helicopter crash that occurred on August 6, 2025 to President John Dramani Mahama. One of 6 school plotters sentenced to death granted bail to the tune of 2.5 million cedis pending hearing of his appeal. Patients bear the brunt as Cape Coast Hospital reversed to manual record keeping following shutdown of the Lightwave Health Information Management System.
So interim, we've gone back to the paper system, and so we are using folders. Some places are using exercise books and other stuff just to be able to, when there are challenges, we don't dwell so much on the challenges. We see how best we'll be able to solve these challenges. So Cape Coast Teaching Hospital went back to paperless.
In Channel 1 Business, stakeholders expectant of bold fiscal measures to stimulate economic growth in budget statements. And in Channel 1 Sports, Ghana's Black Princesses beat host nation Benin to make it 2 wins in ongoing WAFU B Under-20 Girls Cup. We're grateful that you joined us for the Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 Television. We settle for details of our stories now. We start with the health sector. Now, the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital has reverted to manual record keeping after the sudden shutdown of the Lightwave Health Information Management System LIMS. The move has led to long waiting times for patients seeking care at the facility. Although training for a new software system is ongoing, the abrupt suspension of LIMS on Sunday disrupted service delivery. Central Regional Correspondent Akwesiado reports.
Training for staff of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital on the new Ghana Health Information Management System, GIMS, which replaces the Lightwave Information Management System, began on Friday, November 7, 2025, and is expected to conclude on Monday, November 10. However, departmental heads were reportedly issued a sudden directive on Sunday instructing that all patients on admission should have their notes and medications copied and pasted onto Word within the next 10 minutes. LIMS were shut down. Sources at the facility told Channel 1 News that the directive caused confusion and frustration among health workers as the system went offline abruptly. Following the shutdown, staff have reverted to manually recording patient information, a process that has significantly slowed operations, especially at the outpatient department (OPD). Although management of the hospital has denied that the shutdown was unplanned, they acknowledged that it has increased waiting times for patients.
We were officially asked to now prepare for games today, and so LIMS went off from our system, and then we are expecting to receive games today. But I am not aware of any directive coming from management to migrate anything to Word or whatever. So interim, we've gone back to the paper system, and so we are using folders. Some places are using exercise books and other stuff just to be able to, when there are challenges, we don't dwell so much on the challenges. We see how best we'll be able to solve these challenges. So Cape Coast Teaching Hospital went back to the paper system.
Public Relations Officer of CCTH, Frederick Nyanka, told Channel One News that the hospital expects to complete its transition to the games platform by close of Monday, barring any unforeseen challenges. He added that staff are being adequately trained to effectively operate the new system.
So we received a directive from the ministries concerning the transition from LEMS to games. And for Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, we started preparing from last week. We've had a series of training from officials from the ministries, and they've taken our staffs, our doctors, and our nurses, and other members of the staff of Cape Coast Teaching Hospital through various training. We are hoping that we end our training today, and we are hoping that all things being equal, by close of day, we should be able to come live with the games.
Management further assured that all patient data currently recorded manually will be safely migrated to the new digital system and fully protected.
No, I don't think they should be worried concerning their data. Probably they should be worried concerning waiting time. It will extend some of their waiting times. Like for instance, today, the normal time that you have to spend at OPD came with some extra minutes. That's where the worry should be.
Management has, however, assured that patients' record will be protected. For the Channel One Newsroom, I am Akwesi Ado, Teaching Hospital, Cape Coast.
Now, Bright Alan Deborah, who is one of 6 persons convicted and sentenced to death in the coup plotters case, has been granted bail pending appeal. The court set the bail at 2.5 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties, one backed by landed property. The decision followed deliberations on affidavits filed by both sides. There is more in the following reports.
The court ruled that exceptional circumstances had been shown, meeting the legal threshold for bail pending appeal. Deborah must surrender his passport to the registrar and has been placed on the stop list, meaning he cannot leave Ghana without the court's permission. He also has 6 months to compile and transmit his record of appeal to the Supreme Court by April 9, 2026. Any failure to comply could lead to a revocation of the bail. Deborah is one of 10 people tried in the high-profile treason case involving ACP Dr. Benjamin Agwajo during President Akufo-Addo's second term. He was found guilty of conspiracy to commit high treason and described as a key figure who allegedly recruited soldiers and helped plan the coup. Prosecutors said Deborah organized meetings, drew attack sketches, and sought information on explosives. He and 5 others were sentenced to death on January 24, 2024, while ACP Agwajo and Colonel Gameli were acquitted. His lawyers have appealed, arguing that the trial was unfair and marked by procedural errors and judicial hostility. Affidavits supporting the bail application pointed to alleged bias, improper admission of evidence, and denial of adequate facilities for the defense. The court, after review, found merit in these exceptional claims and granted bail. Meanwhile, in the Skytrain case, former Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund board member Yao Odamedakwa told the High Court that the GIF board never approved the Skytrain project during his tenure. He's the first prosecution witness in the ongoing $2 million financial loss case involving former GIF CEO Solomon Asamoah and board chair Professor Christopher Miokumfi. Odamedakwa said the Skytrain was only briefly mentioned at one meeting and was never recommended or approved for funding. He revealed that he first learned of the alleged $2 million payment through the Auditor General's report. According to his witness statement, no due diligence report was ever submitted to the board, and any minutes suggesting approval were inaccurate. He maintained that while GIF approved several legitimate projects, the Skytrain was never one of them.
Now, the investigative committee chaired by the Acting Minister for Defense, Dr. Kezela Tuforsen, has submitted its final report on the tragic military helicopter crash that occurred on August 6, 2025 to President John Dramani Mahama. The presentation was made on Monday, November 10, during a National Security Council meeting held at the Jubilee House in Accra. The committee, which was constituted shortly after the crash, was tasked with establishing the cause of the incident and recommending measures to prevent future occurrences. Its report is said to contain detailed findings covering technical, operational, and environmental factors that may have contributed to the fatal accident. Government sources have said that the findings will be made public on Tuesday, November 11, 2025, at an official press briefing, where key recommendations and next steps are expected to be outlined. To some other stories, and grain farmers across northern Ghana have converged on Tamale to protest the worsening lack of market for their produce. Hundreds of metric tons of rice, soya beans, and maize from last year's harvest remain unsold in warehouses and factories nationwide, a situation farmers blame on poor market access for locally grown grains. Our Northern Bureau Chief, Shawana Yusuf, has more.
Addressing the media at the protest, the national chairman of the Rice Farmers Association, Alhaji Saibu Brema, expressed disappointment over government's inaction, saying the situation has forced farmers to boycott this year's Farmers' Day celebration.
There is rice that is coming from unapproved rows, and those rice are substandard rice that is coming from Togo borders, then Abidjan borders. This rice, they are not paying any revenue to the government, yet the local industries are collapsing. We said this by engaging them, but we did not hear any information from them. So along the line, we had to come together and wrote a letter to the Minister of Agric and copied the President. Currently, we have over 400 tons of maize, soya beans packed in the various houses without a market.
Alhaji Brema also criticized government's short-term plan to buy grains in bulk, describing it as unsustainable.
The current stock we have, the government alone cannot absorb it. Government-owned policy documents stated clearly that they are anticipating 1.7 million tons of rice this year. So if last year's surplus is over 200 tons, and we are currently going to produce 1.7 million tons, who is going to buy it? Currently, farmers are crying because they are owing banks. Most of them cannot even sleep their various houses. And 1 week, if we have not heard anything from the government, our next line of action is to move to Accra, and it is going to be a nationwide.
A maize farmer from the Upper West region, Alhaji Jibril Nankpa, appealed to the government to immediately stop maize importation, warning that the practice is crippling local production.
If our produce are not bought and government rather sees it wise to import maize and rice from other countries into Ghana, what are they doing to us? The criminal activities are going to increase. They are crying of galamsey. We all go and join the galamsey because our produce maize is not bought, rice is not bought, and that's the major product I produce.
If I will know that I would have seen you here, I would have sent you to my warehouse, where my farm produced this year are rotten. I even have the evidence in my phone. I can share it with you.
The farmers later presented a petition to the Northern Regional Minister for onward submission to the President, stressing that the current market crisis threatens the very survival of the country's agricultural sector.
Leaving 1 million farmers with potential substantial losses and threatening the sustainability of the local rice industry. Give us the market and your support.
Responding, Northern Regional Minister Ali Adolf John said he was surprised by the protest, explaining that he had already communicated the farmers' grievances to the Minister of Food and Agriculture.
I did my part. I was in Accra last week. Towards the end of the week, I was able to meet the Agric Minister. So right from here, I will want your leadership, at least 6 or 8, to follow me to my office. Whatever information that I have brought back from the Minister for Agri, I will communicate that to you through them. There's no way that His Excellency will sit down and watch or preside over post-harvest losses.
Now, the Chief Justice nominee, Paul Bafo-Boni, has announced plans to roll out a 24-hour service delivery at the courts to reduce cost of litigation. The nominee says the move will incorporate a night and weekend courts in addition to its current morning and afternoon shift service delivery to also tackle the backlog of cases. He made this known at his vetting by the Appointments Committee of Parliament.
The Minority Caucus staged a walkout ahead of the vetting of Chief Justice nominee Justice Paul Bafo-Boni, citing concerns over pending legal cases surrounding the removal of his predecessor Gertrude Tokonu.
We don't need to vet a nominee before we vote against the nominee. We have preliminary issues well grounded in law. You may disagree with us. And we say that on the basis of that, we cannot be part of a process that would give right to another and deny another of her bona fide as enshrined in the Constitution. Chairman, that said, we would yield to you to proceed whilst we exit this committee room with our views well documented for the records, and on the floor we shall proceed with the debate, further stating our position and take a vote against the nominee.
During the vetting process, Justice Bafo-Boni disclosed plans to implement a 24-hour justice delivery system at the courts.
I was telling somebody that maybe the president, if he stole his the 24-hour idea, economy idea from the judicial service, because we have planned for some time now to introduce courts around the clock so that we can have night courts, and then see all these are supposed to augment the legal aid situation. If there are courts around to take care of cases, definitely the cost of litigation will go down.
He also announced plans to adopt artificial intelligence in the empaneling of judges to ensure transparency.
Empaneling is normally done randomly, or it follows certain patterns, but because of the anxiety it creates among people, the suspicions, or people feel it's not transparent, I think we should be able to consider AI empaneling.
Justice Bafo-Boni also disclosed plans to reignite the Justice for All system to tackle prison congestion.
Kumasi Male Prisons was built for 416 persons. As of today, there are 1,727. And this is replicated all over. The prisons are choked. Remand prisoners, it is a border. And one of the causes of the prisons getting choked is people being remanded, and sometimes indiscriminately. That is why, and then there are also some, as you said, who have committed minor offenses, who shouldn't be there, but they are there. So I think that it was particularly for these minor offenders that the Justice for All program was introduced. And for some time now, maybe because of the turbulence, this year, they have not actually even sat. It is something that I want to reignite, revamp it, so that we can have the Justice for All back on the road, so that we can get rid of some of these persons.
And the vetting process has been marked by controversy, with the Minority Caucus boycotting the proceedings the Majority Leader Mahama Yariga and Minority Leader Alexander Apenyomaken have been at odds over procedure and language used during the vetting. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Parliament, Ni Ayukwei Okain.
Now, for more on this, let's speak to a member of the New Patriotic Party, NPP MP for Menchia South, Nana Bafo-Ejewa, who is a member of the Appointments Committee. They were the group that walked out today. Let's understand further why they did what they did. Honorable, you're welcome to Channel 1 Newsroom. So, the first question, if I were a constituent of Menchia South, my question to you would be, I sent you to Parliament to do a lot of work, including grilling nominees of the President, including nominee for the position of Chief Justice, and yet I saw you walk out. Why?
To start with, we didn't walk out. We only stated our position that we are rejecting the nomination of Justice Paul Bafo-Boni as the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. Menchia South people understand that we in Parliament work according to principles. And so they sent me to Parliament to ensure that I comply or work according to principles. One of the principles that the Menchia South people have been made to understand by the current NDC administration, particularly the majority in Parliament, is that consistent with the standing orders of Parliament, when a matter is in court, you do not comment on it. That is the sub judice rule. In this instance, in the case of the Chief Justice, there are pending cases in court. The uniqueness of it is that this is a case where what is supposed to be decided by the court is whether or not the removal of Justice Tokonu was lawful. Now, if the court so decides that the removal is not lawful, what would happen, or one of the things that may happen, will be to reinstate Justice Tokonu. Now, if there is a successor to Justice Tokonu, that is a substantive successor to Justice Tokonu, what then happens is that there will be a fundamental question as to whether or not Justice Bafo-Boni, having been so appointed, having gone through the appointment procedure under the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, should be removed. It has already been determined in the case of the Ghana Bar Association versus the Attorney General that once a judge is appointed, the only procedure to remove the judge is by way of Article 146 procedure. Article 146 procedure does not include an order of the court. Therefore, if the Supreme Court or any court of our land were to so hold that the removal of Justice Gertrude Tokonu was unlawful, it simply means that it will be impossible to remove Justice Bafo-Boni.
Okay.
Unless you go through another Article 146 procedure.
Okay.
And we all know the grounds under which you can remove somebody, a judge, under Article 146 procedure.
Okay. I have questions I'm going to ask on that, but before then, when I said you walked out, you said you did not walk out. What did you do? If you did not walk out, I saw you walk out.
So you saw us walk out.
But you say you did not walk out. So what did you do?
What we did was to go in and state our position and block that on stated grounds, we reject the nomination of Justice Bafo-Boni.
And then you walked out.
Yes, we need to understand that under the Constitution of Ghana, the appointment of a Supreme Court judge is subject to the approval of Parliament.
I get. So I just wanted to understand just the basic issue. Not to deal with the nitty-gritty. I just wanted the specific act, the parliamentary act you undertook today is a walkout. You said it was not a walkout. So what was it? What is it called in your parliamentary procedure if it wasn't a walkout?
We went in to state our position. The vetting is a procedure by which you ascertain the propriety or otherwise of the appointment of the nominee. We have already taken a position on the nominee. It makes the vetting process redundant. In any event, as you all saw it, the majority was not ready to accommodate the minority in the vetting process.
But you still haven't told me what you did in your your exit from the committee room.
What we did was to state our position summarily rather than go through the vetting process, because we already have taken a position.
Why do you have a difficulty saying that you walked out when in the English language and even both in the parliamentary procedure, what we saw you do was a physical walking out of the committee room?
Okay. At the end of the vetting process, the majority also walk out, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they? So we went in, completed our vetting, our part of the processes earlier than scheduled by stating our position, and then we left. It wasn't a walkout.
Okay. The Chief Justice has answered the questions. Okay, the acting Chief Justice, who was also the nominee, answered the questions that you raised today, questions about the litigation before the court or the sub judice nature of the removal of Gertrude Tokonu. He has explained that to the extent that no court of competent jurisdiction has stated specifically that Parliament is stopped or barred from going ahead with the conduct, Parliament was not wrong in doing what it was doing. He cited the 2012 election petition where President Mahama's legitimacy as president was being contested, and yet he remained as president until the 8th month when the decision was taken. He cited the case of President Akufo-Addo's challenge in 2020 where he was elected president. There was a petition. He stayed on until the 42nd day or so after a decision was rendered. And he said that if at the end the Supreme Court has decided that vacate your position, that's what would have happened. And if he says stay on, which happened, that's what's going to happen. Now, if at the end of the day the court decides that Gertrude Tokonu returns, the very process today that happened would have been moot. And so he does not think that there was a problem with the vetting, because you know, based on the recent Esafua case, that if the matter is a constitutional in nature, you cannot be barred from doing that. That's what he explained.
Okay. So my first reaction to that, very respectfully, is that it's like we are comparing apples with oranges. This is clearly distinct from all the matters the Chief Justice made reference to. To begin with respect to elections petition, the president is not part of the judiciary. The president will not be determining who sits on the case in terms of the elections petition. But in this instance, Justice Tokonu is now battling to remove, in a nutshell, Justice Bafuboni from office.
Okay.
So there is really a tug of war between the two. Justice Tokonu's success would mean that Justice Bafuboni is no longer the Chief Justice.
Very well.
Justice Bafuboni now has the power to determine which judge sits on Justice Tokonu's case.
He already has that capacity as acting Chief Justice, does he not?
Exactly.
So what's the difference?
The difference is that we all know what has happened. In an acting capacity, we know what is happening to Justice Tokonu's case. We can only imagine what will happen in a substantive capacity.
Very well. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
You're welcome, my brother.
That's the Honorable Member of Parliament for Menchia South speaking to us on that decision of the minority side in Parliament earlier today on the vetting of the Justice or Chief Justice nominee, Justice Bafo-Boni. This is Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 Television. We take a break now. When we return, stakeholders expectant of bold fiscal measures to stimulate economic growth in budget statements. More on that when we come back. Please stay with us.
Having the right diagnosis can save your life. Welcome to SynLab. Inside the state-of-the-art facility, patients have the benefits of cutting-edge technology, experienced lab technicians, personalized care in our ultra-modern clinic, and most importantly, answers.
I've been doing all my tests at MedLab for over 20 years, till they rebranded to SynLab. You know, he was just a little boy when I started bringing him to MedLab. Oh, sorry, SynLab.
SynLab. SynLab is the new MedLab.
My family trusts SynLab.
At SynLab, our highly trained personnel give our clients personalized attention every step of the way.
SynLab is the preferred option for your annual routine health checks to avoid negative health surprises.
SynLab is the new MedLab.
SynLab, medical excellence for you.
Hey, Ghana. So you know Miss Brother once more. If you knew, it's your boy. Kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the greats. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out too. You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa faha.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Obey you later.
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Go be the luckiest, go be from Georgia be luckiest, from not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter what you're luckiest, everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your goddamn boom! If you put it toy, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car? Everywhere.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Christmas, my favorite time of the year.
This festive season, Volta Serene Hotel invites you to experience the magic of Christmas and New Year like never before. From 20th of December to the 1st of January, step into a world of joy, music, laughter, and celebration. We begin on the 20th with a soulful carols night, filling the air with warmth and melody. Then, on 23rd and 24th of December, arrive in style as we welcome you with fresh coconut and local treats. Christmas Day brings pure delight, exciting exciting moments for kids, relaxing escape for adults, and an elegant all-white dinner under the stars, crowned with a spectacular fireworks display. On Boxing Day, embrace culture and rhythm, from picnics and traditional dance to an unforgettable high life and old school night. As the week unfolds, enjoy movie night, live music, karaoke, and endless fun, until we welcome 2026 with a breathtaking fireworks show on New Year's Eve. Special Christmas packages starting from 4,050 for individuals, 5,250 for couples, and 8,900 Ghana cedis for a family of 4 for 2 nights. Call or WhatsApp 0541 539 867 or 0362 025 243 to book your experience today. Volta Serene Hotel. Feel the serene touch.
You're welcome back to Channel One Newsroom on Channel One Television. Up next is Channel One Business with Ni Lati Lati.
Channel One Business is brought to you by MTN and EcoBank.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw direction to your house. I need your thumbprint. And I'll need your birth certificate too. No, I need the original.
A lot has changed since you banked like this. So have we. We've made it easier than ever to open an account online and bank on the go through our mobile app, online banking, and more. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way.
Sign here, and here.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
So Nilati Lati has joined me with the latest in the world of business. Nilati, budget day is on Thursday, big expectations, right?
Indeed, and you know it's budget week and a lot of people are actually talking. Businesses are making strong demands. Industry players are also making some expectations. So we have some stories. We'll be seeing what the finance minister finally presents to Parliament on Thursday.
Indeed, please share with us.
Ghana has signed a bilateral debt agreement with Germany, making the 6th agreement under the country's ongoing debt restructuring program. Finance Minister Dr. Kasai Olatoforsen describes the agreement as a significant development in Ghana's economic recovery journey. He noted that it will help strengthen fiscal stability and anchor long-term economic progress. The minister thanked the government of Germany for its continued partnership and confidence in Ghana. He added that the agreement reflects strong cooperation between the two countries. Now, as Finance Minister Dr. Kasai Olatoforsen prepares to present the 2026 budget and economic policy, the private sector is showing cautious optimism about the country's economic outlook heading into 2026 as macroeconomic indicators continue to improve. According to the KPMG UNDP 2026 pre-budget survey report, though businesses recognize the government's effort to stabilize the economy, they are calling for stronger measures to sustain growth and ease operational pressures. This report has more details.
The KPMG 2026 pre-budget survey report notes that Ghana's economy is showing signs of recovery, but businesses say the gains are yet to translate into real growth. The report highlights steady progress and stabilization, with GDP growth at 6.3% in Q2 2025 and inflation down to single digits as of October. However, many firms say high interest rates and tight liquidity continue to limit access to affordable credit, slowing expansion and job creation. About 58% of respondents called for credit guarantee schemes, soft loans and grants, particularly for MSMEs, while 85% say matching fund schemes would help them invest in new technology and equipment. On taxes, 33% of businesses support reducing or restructuring VAT and corporate taxes, as well as faster VAT refunds and simpler digital compliance systems. Partner Head of Advisory and Services at KPMG, Kwame Sapong-Bania, urged the government to move beyond stabilization and focus on growth-driven policies that create jobs and strengthen private sector competitiveness.
Inflation has gone down. Exchange rate seem to be stable, has gone down, but this has to be consolidated. These gains has to be consolidated and to ensure that it leads to transformation. It cannot be a short-term gain.
And we stay a while longer with the budget presentation because expectations are still high as many stakeholders look forward to bold fiscal measures to stimulate economic growth. Channel One Business has been engaging members of the business community to gauge their expectations ahead of the presentation.
Finance Minister Dr. Kasila Tuforsen is expected to present the 2026 budget statement and economic policy to Parliament on November 13, 2025. The document will outline government fiscal direction for the coming year, reviewing revenue performance, expenditure trends, debt servicing, and the broader economic outlook. It is also expected to highlight key macroeconomic indicators such as inflation, exchange rate stability, and progress in structural reforms. As anticipation builds, members of the business community are calling for clarity and tax measures, especially in the area of taxation. Public Relations Officer and Director of Industrial Relations of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, Joseph Paddy, shared some of the key expectations they hope the Finance Minister will address.
We're looking forward for that, how simplified we're going to see our tax regime, but as it stands, it's not that simplified. Some are paying 22%, some are paying flat rate of 3%, some are paying 5%. So the cumbersome of the tax regime make it difficult for compliance. So we're looking for what the government is going to put in place to rationalize our tax regime. And secondly, the government also promised one of the challenges of this business committee too is cost of credit. Okay. So when government was coming to power, he promised to come out with the women's banking. The purpose of that to give the women or the women in trade cheaper credit to do business. As it stands now, we've not heard anything about it. We want to know the position of that policy. We're looking forward for that in the upcoming budget. We don't expect any new tax leg. That government should introduce any new tax leg.
At the Kokompe spare parts market, traders also appealed for a reduction in taxes to help sustain their businesses.
We still find it difficult to clear our goods at the port.
The charges are still high.
Yeah, the charges are still high, and so if maybe the charges are high, and if you brought your items at the market and you are also selling it, you also complain about the prices ranges. So that's the challenge that we are facing.
I heard that the government said we'll be taking out some taxes, but the last time I checked, the taxes are still there. We are still paying COVID taxes. They are still there, so I don't know which one they've taken out.
So perhaps you're looking at some tax
reduction. Okay. Yes, probably if the taxes are down, maybe our staff also will be down and consumers will be able to buy.
Here's now an update on how the currency is performing on the interbank market. And that's it for the very latest in the world of business. Many thanks indeed for your company. I am Ni Lati. Over to you, Sanda.
Thank you so much, Ni. Now to some other stories. And officers at the Asante Achim Central Command of the Ghana National Fire Service are calling for the establishment of a post-crash emergency response centers along the Kumasi-Accra Highway to ensure the swift handling of accident cases on the stretch. Their recommendation follows years of fatal crashes on the busy highway, which continue to claim numerous lives and leave several victims with life-altering injuries. Channel 1 News' Bureau Chief for the Middle Belt is Hafiz Tijani.
Fire officers who are often among the first respondents at crash scenes say delays in rescuing victims significantly contribute to the high number of fatalities recorded after such accidents. Asante Achim Central Municipal Fire Commander explained that setting up emergency centers along the route would help improve response times and ultimately save lives.
It sometimes even happens that all the ambulances serving our district are broken down. We serve 4 different districts, and it gets to a point where only one ambulance will be serving all these districts. Fire service attends to these emergencies, and without the presence of an ambulance, we end up handing over victims to strange vehicles and then other persons volunteering to want to transport these victims to the hospital. What it does is that it ends up sometimes or oftentimes aggravating the condition of these victims that we are meting out care to. So there is a need to establish a post-crash emergency response center which comes along with its own fire station, its own ambulance department, with boasts of rapid intervention vehicles and other equipment and logistics.
Recent crashes at Achidie and Asankare have reignited public concern over safety on the stretch.
People are dying seriously because the speed runs were there to check the speed of drivers. Now that there's no speed runs, the drivers, when they are descending, if you look at it, those from Accra, if you look at how they descend or the speed from the top there, it's not easy. And you know, after Reso, yeah, moving to Accra to, you could see that because there's no speed runs, after the speed runs at the Reso, you can even change to the 5th gear before you get to the town. During the last tenure, I made sure I go to Accra myself several times. I went and met the highways, the Ministry of Roads. I went to all these offices in order for us to get the speed runs, but all to no avail.
For many commuters, every trip along the Kumasi-Accra Highway remains a risky journey unless immediate measures are taken to reduce the alarming rate of accidents on the road. Until overspeeding and reckless overtaking are checked, Ghana's busiest highway will continue to bury its travelers. Hafiz Tijani, Channel 1 News, Kumasi-Accra Highway, Ashanti Region.
Now, over 30,000 allied health professionals remain unemployed years after completing their studies, with fresh graduates being inducted each year, further adding to the numbers. This situation has become a major concern for the Allied Health Professions Council, which is urging calm among the unemployed graduates while appealing to government to expedite efforts to absorb them into the health sector. Channel 1 News' Bureau Chief for the Middle Belt, Hafiz Tijani again.
Each year, about 10,000 allied health professionals graduate across the country. However, many of them continue to face uncertainty as there has been no financial clearance for recruitment since 2019. Frustrated by years of unemployment, some graduates have staged several demonstrations to demand government's intervention, efforts that have so far yielded little success. The Allied Health Professions Council described the situation as worrying, but expressed optimism that the current government's assurances will lead to progress in clearing the backlog.
The current government has assured us that next year, 2026, we will get a significant number of our people employed by the system. And I'm counting on all those who are home, are not working, ensure that your PIN is active, register with the council, renew your PIN, and get ready for a potential possible employment next year.
Despite the challenges, the council continues to induct new members into the profession. At an induction and oath swearing ceremony for over 2,000 graduates in Kumasi, the council once again appealed to government to take urgent steps to address the unemployment situation in the sector.
The Minister of Finance, we have engaged them, want to plead with them for at least this year they should give us some significant number for our people to also be employed, just like what we have in other professions like the nurses and the physicians.
Representatives from the Ministry of Health acknowledged the concerns and assured that processes are underway to provide clearance and address the backlog.
And so that's what we are facing now. So the over 700 people that were already enrolled with that clearance, now we are getting them clearance before the end of the year. Almost all of them would have been rolled onto the payroll. So currently we have over 11 countries that are interested in engaging our health professionals, including Allied Health.
The ceremony was held under the theme Resetting Ghana's Allied Health Agenda, the role of the regulator and the professional.
You're still watching Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 Television. Still to come, Ghana's Black Princesses beat host nation Benin to make it to 2 wins in ongoing WAFU B Under-20 Girls Cup. More on that when we return. Please stay with us.
Welcome to 2 of Ghana's finest addresses, Willow Lane and Alphabet City, located at Sakumon. Alphabet City is a premier gated community with 24/7 security. Willow Lane, where luxury meets comfort, spacious 4-bedroom homes with walk-in closet, elevators and gourmet kitchens. 2 lifestyles, 1 trusted developer at Waylead. Our buildings are ready for you to move in right now. So visit waylead.org or call 0240 111119 to book a private tour today. Waylead, your trusted home builder.
Hey Ghana, so you people know Miss Brother once more. If you knew, it's your boy. Kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the great. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa, faha.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm mad.
The second coming.
Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Trot from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late? Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Yeah, you go give me the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From Natepia, cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go give me luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it with a so would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey!
Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
This tote pays 3 salaries. This book keeps 2 children in school. This cream supports 5 households. Every product creates a job.
Buy African, build Africa.
You're welcome back. Up next is Channel 1 Sports with Bernarda Bilquatry. Sports and Bernard Abik. What's a big story?
Well, it's our girls in the Wafu, the Wafu B tournament.
In Benin?
Absolutely.
Tell us a story.
Let's get into it, shall we now? Ghana's Black Princesses recorded their second win of the ongoing Wafu B Under-20 Girls Cup after defeating host nation Benin by 2-0 on Monday, November 10. The victory, played at the Stade de l'Amitié, marked Ghana's second triumph over Benin in the competition, completing a double over the host. Sarah Nyako and Latifa Musa were both on target for the Princesses, who dominated the encounter from start to finish. Musa, who was named player of the match in Ghana's first encounter with Benin, once again impressed as the Black Princesses claimed a comfortable 2-0 victory. Ghana will next face Nigeria on Tuesday in the final group game of the tournament. Well, let's talk about an interesting matter. And Morphin Donzo scored his maiden goal for Asante Kotoko, which proved to be the decisive strike in their hard-fought victory over arch rivals Accra